This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hi, Jason. What's going on tonight?
Well, John, it's like we're back to talk about the second volume of the series that we started talking off on this podcast last year. Something that we like very much called the Night Eaters, from the creators of Monstrous, writer Marjorie Liu and artist Sana Takeda. And this was like a really good start to a new series from them, like, which is impressive because they're already doing great work. It's like on Monstrous, and then they decided to just like start doing this new original graphic novel like trilogy, which hey, it's like I'm all for like reading new stuff like from them, and this first volume turned out to be really good, and I think you thought so too, right, Christine?
Yes, I'm back. I like it so
Yeah.
much. We're talking about it again.
Yeah, because I mean, like this first volume did like a good job introducing us to the world, like this new like fantasy world. Basically, like definitely more grounded than Monstrous, since it's like essentially takes place in our world, specifically like the world of like our COVID era world, and like the world where you've got these this family, the Tings. It's like like mother Ipo, like father Kion, and like the kids, Bill. It's like Billy and Millie, who are running their own like rice ball shop, and they're just living their lives until the kids find out that, oh, we're actually like the sons of, it's like, of demons. Or actually that's kind of like demonic racists. That's like they're just like what's the word to describe them, Christine?
Supernatural?
Yeah, like they are. It's like they're just like they're like the spawn of like some very powerful like some supernatural entities, like, who were born into our world. And it's like, and Kion and Ipo just basically tried to like raise them as normal like human people. It's like for most of their lives, until they realize that, okay, that's probably not going to work. So now we're actually like gonna like have to like show them that what they actually are. And basically that involved that like Billy and Millie having to quasi exercise a possessed house like across the street from them. And it happened. It didn't go well exactly, but they eventually got through it. And the first song ended with like with the two of them just awakening to their new demonic heritage, and just deciding, hey, how are we gonna like manage things from here. And that was a good place to end things, even though you kind of expect that, hey, it's like they're going to like like mom and dad are just like kind of going like tell their kids like, hey, here's what you got to do now, right? Wrong. So because volume 2 basically like begins with like with the kids basically at odds with mom and dad, because they haven't actually gone into any like detail like about their like their heritage, and especially just what their powers are. Like, mom and dad just said, okay, yeah, you're like, here's your like your supernatural beings now, have fun.
Yeah, in the first volume really kind of set the foundations, right? Backstory of both of them, flip-flopping, who are there, setting their identities a little bit, and then kind of once that supernatural aspects come to play, just then really bumps up the horror aspect, which volume 2 really picks up right off the bat.
Yeah, because basically, like, volume 2 starts off with a it's like, doesn't start off with like with Billy and Millie or like the Ting family at all. It starts off with this other, it's like with this other girl who's basically just like basically been recruited by this like mysterious organization, like in order to like help out her family and all. It's like, and she's, and like she and like these other people are basically like really grateful to what they've been like recruited for, and then they're murdered, which, because that's how these things go. And then then we jump back over to Billy and Millie. It's like, because like they're still trying to like manage their it's like their rice ball thing, which is still just actually going really well. Like, Spam I Am is still going strong, but at the same time though, like, there's still some resentment here, because mom and dad are just kind of like, I guess like they were kind of expecting like like their kids to like go in a certain direction, as far as like now that we've told you who you are, you're just gonna like go and like just like do like supernatural stuff that we did, right? Wrong. Well, it's like because like the kids like they've got their like store to manage, and they're just like going to like keep doing that because that's what they're invested in. Really, that's really like the way things are going to go. But then things kind of go crazy when it's like when like they go back to their apartment. It's like after like sorry, not the apartment, their hotel room, like for this because like they're in like they're attending this like 30 for 30 like restaurateur like awards thing. And then when they go back to their apartment for break, they find like the creepy doll from the first volume there, and it's Mrs. Lee because apparently she still needs help from them. But also it's like one of the like that the girl who was murdered in the opening prologue. Well, she's here too because apparently she's been ensnared by all this like all this vengeful karma as well. And so now Billy and Millie find themselves drawn into this drawn into like vengeful web in terms of like how do we like achieve like vengeance for this like evil it's like evil it's like not evil spirit like Miss Lee is just well she's not evil she's just got a lot of anger because like she died badly. Like I mean her husband like burned her alive in order to sacrifice her for like his for cold power and all. That's a bad thing. So like but Billy and Millie are just like invested in like okay we want to like do right because like Miss Lee was done dirty, this other girl was done dirty as well, we want to help them out. And when they bring this to their parents, well mom Ipo just burns Miss Lee alive, well dead really. So it's like that's bad, and that kind of sets up the big schism for this volume because it's basically the kids are doing their thing and the parents are doing their thing because there's bad shit coming, and it's just like and now everyone. But the thing is like no one's working together on this. They're just like doing their own way.
Yeah, and I want to take it, even before volume 2 starts is that there's I asked you, Jason, like there's this there's Chinese proverb in the beginning. There's no
Yes.
translation, it's just the Chinese characters. And I looked this up. And so it's actually it's a well-known proverb that sort of roughly translate to every family has their own troubles. Skeletons in the closet, and
Sometimes literally here.
yes, yes. Well, it does not explicitly, the saying does not explicitly say that, but it's more like every family got some fucked up shit, right? And so it's not just the kids and everyone actually kind of has stuff going on, and that's kind of a little bit of this underpinning, right? When our introductory story with the girl, right, they have issues, right, that drags her into this cult, right, that other people are dragged into, and everyone's kind of got their own shit going on. And now we're at the point of the midpoint of the trilogy of everything escalating, of all these family troubles trying to set ablaze, right? And even these things that we're trying to figure out, like what was the word they used for the tribes of the quote unquote supernaturals? Like there's a lot of things, there's a lot of people working against each other for each other about this climactic thing that is to be revealed in volume 3, right?
Oh yeah, because like shit gets. I mean, things escalate quickly at the end of this volume. That's for sure. It's like that's probably the only real issue I have with this like this volume as well. It's like it's I mean on one hand it's very much a middle story of a trilogy because like you're just kind of like okay you're continuing on from what was told before, but you're also just like setting up stuff what's going to like come in the climax. And oh my god, it's like things just like go crazy at the very end here to the point where it's just kind of like volume 3 is gonna like like start off with like a much different place than what we got with volume 2. But I'm not worried because like these creators like have like they've got a handle on how to deal with supernatural here, and they do a good job in like in terms of just keeping you invested about what's going on here because I mean like the main it just feels like the main like thread here is just like what Billy and Millie are dealing with, because like just basically like like kids who thought they were just like normal like like Asian American kids. It's like, and then just finding out that, oh my god, it's like we got like supernatural demonic powers here, and also like different breeds as well, because while Millie can like talk with ghosts that Billy can't see, Billy can also just talk with like other like demonic entities that she can't see as well, like Mr. Stick Figure Satan.
Yes. And that's kind of the balance of the horror and comedy, right? Like the opening scene. Oh, that sent chills, right? I was thinking like, oh, how's this girl related to Sora? Are they part of the family? Who is this? And boom, like you get really into this macabre, like, oh my god, what's happening? Setting up the culmination events that's to happen next volume. But then you have Mr. Stick Figure saying, you have these points like, why the fuck didn't our family tell us our history? And and the kidnapped Frenchies, right?
Yes.
And so there's a big balance about like things. There are high stakes here, and there are horror elements, and there's murder, and there's blood and gore, but there's also the funny the funny bits to mix that up. And the thing that comes to mind when you talk about it's Millie and Billy's story, it's kind of a horror coming of age story, right? There are these kids that are like, oh, here are our traditional stuffy Asian parents, we're just trying to get by in our lives, but nope, like we're gonna make you grow in the most extreme way possible for our entertainment.
Yeah, it's like, and speaking of someone who's like a devoted fan of Lou and Takeda's series Monstrous, I was just really surprised at how funny this series can be. I mean, like there's, I mean, Billy's like comments about just saying, I'm fluid and white, man. It's like that stuff is just like it's like comedy gold, like throughout most of the volume. I mean, also like when they get accosted by that one woman who just like who like has the dogs that they adopt, and then she's like, oh, it's like, don't assault me. It's like, and she's like tries to like pull a gun on them, and it just like flies out of her hand into their car. It's like,
and you talk about the expression of the comedy and horror and the beautiful art, and something that is until you actually kind of dig into more of both Marjorie and Sana, are that there is a language barrier there, and the ability for them to communicate the story and have it being so expressively drawn is also something to praise a bit here too.
Oh yeah, it's like, I mean, it's like going back to Monstrous. It's like, I mean, like the detail in that series is just like astonishing. And even though it's like the Night Eaters like feels a bit more looser in like its art, it's still like really impressive in terms of just how like she can just draw anything.
Yeah, and it's very expressive, and you got to think about the script. How she's writing her script, and it most likely has to be translated into some Japanese, and enough English, and you just to the community. As that's what I said, the communication aspect, and as for some background, I saw some videos of them at Comic-Con. It might have not been a Comic-Con, but a comic show talking about their partnership. And, it's all, what do you call it? Across the Pacific, like transcontinental, like they're collaborating online with a language barrier, but the fact that they are both able to collab without physically being there and having the expression of if you think about it, like both of them have had very different life experiences, and for them to have the writing be expressed in that way with all these kind of jokes, and with San translating that, so it again,
yeah, it's like, I mean, you really feel like Mr. Six Figure Satan's exasperation at being called that, and that's no small thing.
Yeah. But you also see a little bit of that Japanesey like little anime expressions and
oh yeah,
influence as well, and that is also a little bit of a delight.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, I mean, it's a lot of fun just like seeing like how Millie and Billy react to like the crazy ass situations they find themselves in, such as like with Millie having to deal with like the machete attack, or Billy just having to deal with like being like trying to be chainsawed by that one chick.
Yeah,
It's like,
and then
eh,
when he's like, "I'm Wolverine."
and then he pukes in the next panel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also it's like when like with the parents as well, because like I mean, on one hand, it's like, yeah, it's a testament to like the solid character work they do here that I don't hate Ipo as much as I should, because I don't know, it's like I just get I mean, like, this is just me, but I just kind of like feel that like it just feels like really kind of irresponsible for her, like what she's doing here in terms of just like awakening the kids and just not saying anything about it. I mean, I realize that, okay, it's like she's acting from her own like impulses here and her own sense of history, but it's just kind of like, okay, yeah, it's like you should have like actually told them something. I mean, like Keelan's brother, because he tells him like when he just asks, Billy, like, hey, just lift this couch with me on it, and use your demonic strength to do that. And Billy's like, okay. It's like, and he doesn't do that. He's like, bro, you told him jack shit, didn't you? It's like it's great how they manage that comedy sense as well, and also that great bit when like when it's like when Keon basically like tells like asks her about like we should have told them more, and then she hisses at him in this demonic way to let us know that she's definitely not human at all. But then he makes that heart symbol with his hand,
Yes.
and it's like, yo, you can't resist me.
And the funny little aspect of it too, there's a little bit of callback of that, Asian American experience of me. It would not be totally unbelievable for some of us, like, yeah, our parents probably are demons, right? Because of the stoicness, and there's also thinking of like maybe hopefully more of that's revealed. Their intentions, like why, did they not reveal this? Hopefully there's a payoff in that. Are they protecting them from something, or is there something, there must be a reason, right? Because it's not just mom, it's both of them that have been like, oh, they'll discover it, but also it's also a bit hinted about like they did not expect for things to escalate this quickly as well, and maybe there is a bit of protection, but maybe even apprehension about what would happen if they just discovering themselves, right?
Yeah, it's like I guess like the most generous reading of this is that they figured that letting them know about their nature was kind of like the bare minimum they had to do here. But it's like unfortunate. But as the events of this volume show, it's like that turned out to be like like the wrong like tact here. Like they needed to like actually do a whole lot more, because by the end, because not doing that basically led us to the events at the end of the volume, which is kind of like, well, if it's not quite like the apocalypse, then it's really damn close.
Yeah, but I don't. Me personally, I get a little bit of that. Maybe they're also postponing this, right? Like, let them. No, we're not going to tell them anything, so they can live their happy human lives for as long as possible, right? Because as you can see, the minute they explore their powers, consequences abound, right?
Yeah, it's like like people start vomiting up their innards. It's like, and like people start getting set on fire. That kind of fun stuff.
But they searched for this. They deliberately went out for it, right? So
yeah, because I mean, Billy and Millie are basically good people. It's like, 'cause like they want to like to help the people who reach out to them, and unfortunately, like that leads them to a cult that has like designs on like how to quote unquote save the world, and it may be run by like Bruce Lee. I think I wasn't sure how to interpret that, because like after like that impression I got from like that character in the first volume, I'm guessing the feeling like maybe is this meant to be Bruce Lee? I'm not sure.
yeah, we'll find out. But there is a little bit of that Nancy Drew vibe too. Like, we're gonna solve this case. Right.
Yeah, only it's like I missed I didn't read the Nancy Drew volume where like someone melted when Nancy Drew was like questioning them.
And their guts are spilling out. Right.
Yeah, but I mean it's like overall it's like, I mean I guess like the biggest issue I had with this is that it's basically just like reads like a middle volume where things escalate quickly at the end. It's like, I mean, we're we're just basically like, you just have to be familiar with like what went on with like the first volume, and then like at the end it's like you're just kind of like everything's like completely in a different spot. Which on one hand it's like it's kind of crazy, but overall it's like I really did enjoy a lot of what was what was done here. Basically, like from the characterization, like like from Billy and Millie, like all the one-liners, all the like little bits of backstory and history you got from them. I thoroughly enjoyed that, and like I said, it's a testament to like what Leo and Takeda were doing here, that I didn't hate um what it's like what Ippo and Keon were doing. It's like over the course of this volume. Like I get I get the vibe here that this volume was meant to be like the separation like storyline, where like they're doing like each like the kids and the parents are doing their own thing, like to bad ends. But volume 3 is gonna be like where they come together. It's like, and it's gonna be like the mega happy ending where they save the world, or they just transform it irrevocably like into something else that's better for everyone, I hope.
We'll see. We'll see if everything is just wrapped up in a neat package at the very end, or does the universe explode? We'll see.
Okay, so I mean, like, so you enjoyed all like the new characters and just whatever all this other stuff they introduced here.
I do, but it's a lot. It's a little
Yeah.
bit. It's a little bit. It can be a little hard to follow because they're just wham, 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 wham. Everything's setting up right. For in both cases, while Nancy Drew and her brother are trying to get to the bottom of it. The parent. There are also all the other things that the parents are doing. Like the lizard. And hanging out with the brother and figuring out things and, talking about the consequences of all this stuff coming down, right? The scales, that was the word. That was what I was talking about. Also, who are the scales? What do they do? What we're going to see the how are the relationships going to unfold in the final book?
Yeah, I guess like when they talk about the scales, like they implied like that's kind of like just like the enforcer bits for like for these like supernatural, like all the supernatural like beings that are still in the world. And also it was, but I liked seeing like like B just talk to Chuck about it's like, hey, it's like dude, like about just being cool and all, it's like it's like I said, they do a good job of managing the like the really fantastical like just like the mundane human interactions that we're all familiar with,
Yeah.
like Chuck and Mr. Six Figure Satan.
Did you notice did you take a look at the thing at that they go to that the foundation's house, they go into the hall, right? Did you notice all those things in the hall?
Oh, it's like, you mean the like they had the hopping vampire, they had
Yeah,
the
so
blue
all
sleeve
the
suit,
all the callback to like Chinese superstitious things as well. So
like
that was
Ming the Merciless.
yeah.
It's like the green Green Hornet. Yeah, it's like that's a great lot of great Easter eggs right there. And also one other thing, just I mean, it's just like a lot of little things that they do here. I mean, like just like a lot of like, I mean, even though like this is like a big serious supernatural story, there's all this like real like 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 fun like little supernatural like irreverent Easter eggs that they throw in there. Like when Billy does his like like his Conan quote off with Ming.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, it's like, and then when Millie goes berserk during it, it's like, dude, it's like, my Conan like quote off with him is gonna like, we're gonna learn everything from him. So,
Yeah. So again, that's like kind of the balance of, the horror, supernatural, and just, they're kids, right?
yeah, it's like, I mean, it's like, in terms of like balancing horror and comedy, Sam Raimi would definitely be proud of what they're doing here. So that's just my perspective right here. And also, it's like any series that can like hinge one of its big climactic moments on its protagonists uttering the phrase "Wonder Tings activate." It's like, yeah, it's
pun
definitely
is powerful.
Yeah, it's definitely a cut above, really. So yeah, it's like, I mean, when you get to the end and it says volume 3, which is going to be the concluding volume, is coming in fall 2024. I can't wait, really.
Yeah, and you know, you look at the back cover, and it's funny because I feel like it's also this book is really for maybe my exact demographic, right? Not just by, you know, Asian woman, making comics, but also best graphic novel by the Washington Post, named a book we loved by NPR. Like,
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I see all this, but I'd also add just hey, anyone who loves like great comics, go ahead and read this. And on one hand, it's like, well, like some people may feel that look at like, oh, Monstrous has 8 volumes out. It's like, do I need to read all 8 volumes? Like, yeah, you really do. But at the same time, if you don't want to read, like an 8 volumes of a graphic novel that you really should, then yeah, definitely read these two, because it's like I said, it's very, very accessible and very entertaining. And also, it's like when I got my my older niece volume 2, she was actually like, really, she actually expressed like, genuine gratitude for it, which was surprising to me. So that's cool.
yeah, and I joke about like this comic being made for people like me, but you enjoy it, Jason. Some of my other friends I've recommended to, shout out to my friend Jonathan, who is, white boy from the South who enjoys this as well. Also really into comics, so there's certainly a broad appeal, which is also the awesome part, right? And so having more kind of representation in the comics, but it's not just representation, it's like seriously really good art and good writing too. So
Yeah,
love to see more of it.
Yeah, this isn't just kind of like a moral lesson, about just like representation in comics. Like, it's just really funny. It's really entertaining, and by God, it's like I recommend this to anyone. It's like, who's looking for good work. I mean, like Lou and Takeda, they're doing like excellent work together. Both with Monstrous and also with the series as well. I hope they keep doing like this quality of work like together. Just like for those of their careers, honestly.
Yeah, and you bring up a great point about, Monstrous is an 8-volume, fantasy epic, right? And despite the successes of that, they have still decided to team up and create this kind of more accessible, right? And it's just 3 books. You don't have to sign up for like, oh my gosh, I have to read all these things. It's a complete planned story, which can be picked up without having to make a commitment.
Yeah, it's like, and assuming everything goes right, I look forward to just gushing about volume 3 next year with you, Christine.
Yes, looking forward to it.
Oh
yeah.
Well, that sounds great. Do you know, Jason, what you're going to be talking about next time?
Oh man, it's like maybe I'll be talking about like the first cycle of Noctera, or maybe I'll be talking about like like Kelly Thompson's run on Captain Marvel, and it's like on like that I got from our Marvel Unlimited. Or Christine, do you have any suggestions about what I should talk about next time?
Star Trek.
There you go.
Oh man, it's like we've already touched on. We need something like different to talk about for Star Trek, like for the future. But that's definitely like on deck. At least once IDW releases like their current like Star Trek volumes in soft cover instead of hardcover. God damn it! So there you go. Because I don't feel like paying $25 to learn about what like the crew of the Defiant is up to in this like current crossover and all.
Well, as you know, with Star Trek, the well never runneth dry.
Absolutely not.
Something to be talking about. Okay, and we'll catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Glick.
Later. Thanks, Christine.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Always a pleasure. Bye, everyone.